Hello, everyone, and welcome to a slightly different video today. Not our normal podcast, but this is one which is specifically aimed at the Haven Garden, something that some of you who have been watching these things, will know we're very keen about. And so, hello, Desi.
Hello, Chris. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. Very excited about this new project that we're about to launch,
Me
which
too.
which is basically an introduction to a food growing journey, which basically is the journey that we've been on. It takes a little while for you to gain the confidence to be able to sort of share your story, because when you first start, obviously you're a novice, you don't know what you're doing, and you feel you're in no way in a position to be sharing what you did. And that's really the idea behind this. If you have a 10 meter by 10 meter or larger plot of land that you are keen to get going growing your own food, then this series that we're launching is absolutely aimed at you to get you started, or at least thinking in a way which will help you to be on your successful journey, as it were. So it's really 12 weeks of videos like this one. This is just the introduction, where we'll be covering different topics, and we're going to run through those topics just so that you're aware of what's coming. And each week we'll be doing one of these videos to cover in a fair amount of detail our experiences in each of these different components. So
But before I do the first week, let's show you what we are talking about our own experience. So 3 years ago, before the first lockdown, we acquired a plot of land.
here is a picture of how we started off. All right, so this is a picture on day one before we started doing anything at all, and it basically was a flat piece of ground, well, pretty flat anyway. It had been worked on before, but as you can see, not much of that is kind of left. It's a pretty weedy, stubborn couch grass environment cut, I think, to make it available to us. But the key was to kind of map out exactly our plot, as it were. But if you're doing this in your own garden, of course, your plot's already defined for you. The question is, what do you want in it? That's
Hmm.
really it. So
And could you show the other picture of what it is nowadays and what's given us actually the confidence to create this series of sharing our experience?
after a couple of years, this is kind of what we've ended up with, and there's plenty of food being produced here, and as you can see, it's very, very green. There's nothing special here. That we started off with that flat bit of ground, and then we ended up with this. That was where the little recreation area is, and you can see we've got a space there to sit and enjoy the garden and all these amazing flowers as well. So it doesn't just have to be vegetables. It can be
Hmm.
whatever you want. So, but if you're
So,
the first thing
mhm.
really is to define exactly what it is you want to do. What do you want to get from your garden? And if you're growing food, that's really the key. Is like, okay, if I want to grow food, what do I need? What do I actually need in my garden to do that effectively?
So we are going to start these 12 weeks of videos, one each week. We begin with the first one, which is gardening goals. So you already mentioned enough on this. I'm going to move on to the next one, which will be the components of a food producing garden. So what do you need to have in place to be well ready for more vegetables to pick at the end in the harvest season?
Yeah, I mean, this is not necessarily what tools I need in order to set things up. It's what do I need which will support me in producing food.
Hmm.
Like compost bin and fire maybe, and just whatever. What do I need to actually be successful in growing food.
This big question: do you do dig or do you do no dig in your garden? What kind of gardening do you do? And
This wasn't even a question going back in the day. There's just this chap called Charles Dowding who's promoting a concept of no dig, where actually instead of digging the soil over and disturbing it, you basically leave the soil to mature, really. And what do you need to do that? A lot of people go, oh, no dig, that's great. I'm not going to do any digging. I don't have to do any hard work. Well, you do have to do hard work with no dig too. And that's the illusion that, unfortunately, that people get with this no dig.
the misunderstanding, yeah.
They're both hard work, and you need to be diligent, and you need to be active, and you need to be regular with it. Otherwise, it won't work. None of it will work. Nothing works.
So in week 4, we will be talking about creating the layout of your garden, how to go about, and where to place what.
None of it's sacrosanct. Like, some of these things do get moved about, but it's just like, what are you going to do? Like, initially, you have to have some idea of what you want to do, and then implement that. And then next year, you might decide you want to. Yeah, we've done that. Through
Change things,
experience
yeah.
and knowledge, you have to change things about. What works better, what worked one year, or what didn't work one year. You change it up, and maybe it'll work next year.
And then we move on to compost and manure and the importance of what's in the soil, creating, or actually not really creating because it's always there. We didn't create it, but nurturing it in such a way that it becomes a beautiful combination, a microcosm of of bacteria and fungus and all sorts of microorganisms in the soil that work together with the plants to give even better yield of your crop. So that's number 5. Then in week number 6, we talk about what exactly is it that you want to grow. So there is no point in growing, let's say, chard if you don't like the taste of chard. If you don't like, well, butternuts, you don't grow these because then what's the point? Too much energy wasted on something that you would never eat. Or the amount of it, say the kids don't like such a vegetable, then you only grow a little bit. Things like that. So grow what you love eating. And week number 7, we will be talking about seasons and what to sow when.
We're in England, and consequently, its northern hemisphere has certain rules and seasons. It's different in the southern hemisphere. So, do you want to grow one crop, or do you want to really use the soil and develop 2 crops a year? And how much time and energy you're going to put into it? So, it's one big variable, really, and it's up to you to decide how you want to tackle it. And we'll share our experiences, and we're still learning. Now we've done the infrastructure, we're basically spending more time thinking about what we're growing and looking after what we're growing, because we have that time available now.
In week 8, we are moving on to growing from seeds and improving the results of those. And there are some tricks and some, is it tricks or is it hints or tips, maybe?
A lot of people say seeds don't, like they've had no success with seeds, and they're blaming the soil, or they're blaming the seeds, or they're blaming something. But at the end of the day, mostly seeds do germinate, like a high percentage, if you do the job properly. And and there are lots of, it could be too wet, it could be too dry, it could, like this could be the wrong temperature. There's so many things that can go wrong, even in a simple thing of just putting a seed in the ground and hoping it will grow. So we cover a lot of this stuff.
In week 9 and also in week 10, we'll quickly flick to 10 as well. So we talk about weeds and then pests and how to go about that because every gardener's biggest problem are weeds and pests, because they will go after your crops because it's tasty, it's amazing, and well, the pests will, and weeds will grow up if the conditions are right for the weeds to grow. But there are ways to stop them. and what to do and how to go about that.
You're never going to eliminate them. Yeah, like nature's nature, and almost grow a bit extra so nature can have its cut. Like, because it will have some of your crops. It's very frustrating, but there are tips and tricks of how you can mitigate them. But believe me, fungus and mold and disease, they're all pests really, and they're all going to have a go at you.
Yeah.
So very, very difficult, very, very easy to get disheartened. But the better you are at it, the more you study it, the more resilient your stuff becomes.
And it helps when you know what to plant with what else. So what plant goes well with another plant to maybe help protect from pest attack or for helping each other to grow better together. So it's like what plants get on along with each other.
And
And this is what we'll be covering in week 11.
it's the it seems like a huge amount of work, and one of the things I will say is that these things, everything takes its time, knowledge to sink into our heads, and experience to say, well, I'm not doing that again, or I am doing that again. It takes time. You can't learn all there is to learn in a month. All you can do is give it a go, try it out, and see what happens, and then say, well, yeah, that was good, that was a success. Every gardener will have disappointments in a year. We've had them. Things didn't do as well as they did the year before, they did better than the year before, or mold or blight set in. The key is to just not give up.
We're finishing off with number 12, which is flowers, pollination, and protection.
Yeah, I mean, flowers, it seems like, oh, I could really do without flowers because I'm taking up space on my allotment for growing vegetables. But, if there's no pollination, there's no vegetables, that's for sure. And some flowers, they produce a scent that wards off insects or wards off some kind of pests that you don't want on your garden. So they're a real boon, actually. And plus the fact they look amazing and they give your garden a nice scent as well. So they are protecting. They're great for bees and other winged insects that do the pollinating, and they're nice, lovely to look at. So don't ignore flowers.
These are the 12 weeks of the series. This here was just the introduction to our food growing journey, and hopefully these 12 weeks will serve as an inspiration for you to maybe start on your own fruit growing journey.
Yep.
Get inspired. You're watching this episode on our YouTube channel, The Haven Garden. Now you're going to be able to see the first 3 episodes here as well. And then from episode 4 onwards, we're going to be moving along to our Patreon page. If you would like to follow along, if you like what we have been creating, we will share the link for you to come and join us there and continue the learning and the inspiration. And from there, you will also have access to our Patreon community where we can chat in the chat, we can meet in person even. There will be other people, other growers.
Forum there, so people can ask questions. They can connect if they like what they're talking about and they want to just see each other. They can do a video like this on this. It's a Discord platform which we're going to be using to basically build a huge community of people who are interested in growing and not experts, just people who are sharing their experiences, hopefully, and maybe even seeds as well. Seeds, really important. And hopefully you'll join us. So thanks for watching, and see you for now.
Bye.